You're watching Drakewing Gaming. Enjoy the video. Hello everyone, Nary here from Drakewing Gaming. Some of you know me on Twitter, The Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Far Beyond the World. So the last place we left off, we had just had a interesting evening with the girls, Cora and Varissa, and well, it looks like we are off on our own for right now, at least until the feast is over. So let's see what Orien gets up to on his own. I wonder. But anyway, guys, please sit back and enjoy. Let me entertain you for the next 20 minutes, and let's jump right in. Alright, alarm chain, you're up. Okay, there we go. There I pull off the dress, fold it neatly onto the chest, and slip it into the linen. Once I'm comfortably splayed out, I snuggle into the cloak and inhale deeply, trying to remind myself of his scent. With at least a shred of his presence, I feel safe and snug, slowly drifting off into an effortless dream. Oh, goodness me, goodness me. Oddly enough, no whispers come to interrupt me, and it couldn't be gladder. I simply surrender to the memory of the wolf, who thanks to his cloak, almost feels as if he was embracing me. Oh, whoa, what's this? Nope. For the first time, I truly sleep in, waking up all natural. I mean, it's not like Rannick didn't let me laze a bit before, but I still woke up early on his account. Now, without the wolf, there's no real reason for me to get up at dawn. Not to mention that there's not much else to do around here. I'm kind of done with reading books for the time being. One second, guys. Moving it to give myself some more mouse space. Okay. Alright, there we go. The last two left me unsettled enough as it is. I take a long stretch and approach the window to see the weather outside. I rest against the sill and take in the view. It's a sunny day, as most of the ones before, but still quite chilly. No other way around it. Better get started. I go into the kitchen to build a fire. With a total of 3 attempts under my belt, I think I'm getting better at this. Once the warmth of the hearth radiates from across the kitchen, I pull on the lever, hoping it'll cause the mental chain to descend from the chimney. The mental chain. The metal chain. The mental chain. It does, to my great relief. I mount the cauldron onto the chain and fill it with water and leave it to boil. Those morning hoops to jump through are quite bothersome and make me appreciate so many things I must have taken for granted. Indoor plumbing being at the top of the list. I decided to take my time with washing myself, especially since I've gone through all this trouble to get some warm water. I scrub every inch diligently, using the bar of soap Varissa gave me. It foams between my hands and I bring it to my face to take a few sniffs. The smell of lavender is a very new but also welcome addition to my bathroom routine. More so than scrubbing myself with ash, that's for sure. Once I'm done and dry, I look around for some quick breakfast. After the circus with heating my own bath, I don't feel like making any fry-up. I still have some leftovers from yesterday, so I'm not that worried. However, as I'm about to sit down, I hear a knock on the door. Before answering, I drape myself over with one of Rannick's spare cloaks. Once nicely covered, I open the doors only to find a small linen parcel lying at my feet. I look out onto the porch and notice Vool's back in the distance as he casually walks off without even saying hello. Hell, he doesn't even look back. So, we're playing this game, then. Ugh! I pick up the package and close the door, flipping it carelessly onto the table. He's such an immature prick. He was the one to choke me. Again! I decide to be the bigger man and not take it personally, and he's the one to get offended? I'm so annoyed that I grab a tankard and walk towards the barrel. I fill it up and sit back at the table. I don't even want his damn food anymore. My frustration grows with each passing moment as I sulk and wet my lips with ale. He was the one to break the damn promise. I get it. He's extremely possessive. I see some of that behavior in Rannick, but fuck! I surely hope my wolf doesn't end up acting like this. They're all savage beasts. Immediately I think of Dreher. No. I shake my head, picking up on the invasive thought. That was different. Dreher tackled his superior to his own house. Tackled his superior in his own house. Worse yet, it could have very much ended up with my death. Rannick might have overreacted, but he was justified, and it wasn't nowhere near as insane as tackling me because of a slip of a tongue. Versa's right, that wolf is crazy. He swore. Oathbreaker! Yes, he swore on his... No! I jump onto my feet. I'm not Dorothy for you to fuck with! My rattled breath echoes across the room. I try to stabilize myself, knowing full well that whatever the hell this thing is, it very much latches onto my emotions and cranks them up to 11. I look back to the table, reaching for the dandelion resting in the cup. I pick up the soft flower and bring it close to my nose, inhaling gently. My wolf is my compass. You cannot change that. Please go. No, I say calmly, banishing the thought before it even materializes. I know your games. You mistake me for a pawn, but I am very much intent on remaining a player. If I can keep my cool while deep inside of a wolf den, then your incorporeal ass can kiss mine. I sit back down, still very much toying with my keepsake. Vool is... Vool. I saw his terror as he realized he broke his promise. Even if he doesn't care for me, I saw in his eyes the shame of someone who very much holds his words dear. An honorable wolf who wounded his own pride. He didn't intend it. It only happened because she means the world to him. I release a heavy sigh, venting out all that pent-up anger. He's just as lost as Rannick is, if not more. Deep down, he resents the idea of being seen as a beast and a brute. They made him into this. This fucking tribe. It's like a machine that's designed to twist and bend everyone inside of it until all that comes out are damaged souls. If I'm to stay here, I'm going to make sure I don't become a cog inside of it. I won't perpetuate hurt and distrust. Everyone deserves a second chance. Especially the Black Wolf. I spend maybe an hour or two trying to unwind with the ale. I even check out the parcel that Vool brought, letting go of my petty grudge. There's some more cheese, sausages, and what looks like a nice quiche. I'm pretty sure he made it himself. It almost feels like a makeup gift. Or maybe I'm reading into things again. Either way, it's better to hold on to hope than resentment. Oh, yes, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Alright, what do we got? I still struggle reading this time and place, but I'm sure it's somewhat past noon, gauging by how high the sun is in the sky. The fire already died out, and I used my free time to quickly clean the house again, trying to stave away any pervasive thoughts. Although now much easier a task thanks to me finally picking up on the foreign nature, they still unnerve me a little. It's like having another person inside of me. And bringing the cottage up to speed isn't as laborsome, as I did a fairly good job of it the first time around. I simply dust the surfaces and sweep the floors, careful to get into every nook and cranny. There's an odd satisfaction in keeping this place tidy. Once only the bedroom's left, I begin to wonder what will I do with the rest of the day. Oh, thank heavens! I put down the broom, certain it's Verissa coming to pay me a visit. I rush towards the chest to put on a dress, trying not to make the female wait. I'm coming! I mutter in my mind, straightening the silk across my thighs. As I open the door, I almost jump back in panic. Tryst just stands there looking at me with a bemused expression, most likely taking my startled reaction as mockery. He nods towards the inside, clearly asking to be let in. I just shut the door into his stupid face, but the bunny persists. Ugh! I open again, this time begrudgingly giving him a nasty look. One more time the bunny nods towards the inside, asking to be let in. I glance around, seeing some wolves about, and reluctantly wave my hand in an inviting gesture. The moment the door is shut, I give him the meanest stink eye I can muster. What do you want? What kind of voice should I do for Tryst? I haven't voiced him in a while. I came to fetch you, he states matter-of-factly. Fetch me? You must be kidding. Yes, as much as I think you are a massive joke, this here isn't. Ooh, you little... Funny coming for someone called Kalen. So you do speak their language. Clearly not as well as you do. He scoffs, walking towards the table and dragging his finger across it. I mean, what sort of an idiot wouldn't pick up a few words working here for several years? Then why pretend? Because wolves do not like being spoken to. He throws his inquisitive gaze into the floor, rubbing it with his hind paw. I see Rannick's already putting you to good use. Or perhaps I'm not just a lazy layabout. He grimaces, massaging his forehead as if he were in pain. Ugh! What's the matter? I ask automatically, my good nature overriding my dislike for the guy. Nothing's the matter. Just, it's so confusing talking with you. It's like... Yeah, like I was born in your burrow. I scoff mockingly. I've heard that one already. He gives me a distrusting look and simply shakes his head. Either way, I'm not here to debate your linguistic skills. Good. If you want bonus points, you can stop scrutinizing my housework as well. As if I'd care about my standing with an obvious spy. I laugh out loud, looking at him with pity. A spy? Who the hell would I spy for? You tell me. A smug smile stretches across his muzzle, and his insolence has finally exhausted my patience. I huff in annoyance, approaching the door. The creak opened as I swung them ajar, showing the rabbit out. Leave! Now! Close the damn door, you fool! The bunny jumps up in a panic, causing me to narrow my eyes. Someone can overhear us! I comply reluctantly, slowly closing the door. Why are you so freaked out? We're talking in Sylvan. We're talking, period. Wolves don't like their wards plotting behind closed doors. We're hardly plotting. Try to explain that to them. I sigh uncomfortably, not really sure how much I can really trust this guy. Again, what do you want? I was ordered to fetch you. You are needed at the villa. At the villa? I blink. Yes. But I was supposed to stay here, out of sight. Well, the chief is throwing a luncheon for the elders. Surely his household is well staffed. What does he need me for? I don't know. It was Vithir's idea. What? Why? I only understand bits and pieces of that horrid language. Something about making an impression. On the elders? I conclude, and the bunny scoffs mockingly. Yeah, I suppose. Sometimes I think that a single tree would have more guile than all those damned wolves combined. Bringing you there is just asking for trouble, especially decked out like this. He waves at my dress, and I look down at it. I mean, it is a dress, but other than that, nothing seems to be wrong with it. It's not revealing or anything, and I'd much rather be in that than walking around half naked. Besides, why should I even go anywhere with him? I'm Rannick's attendant, not a servant. I shrug. Would you care to explain that to the chief, then? He proposes, showing me the door. Very funny. Thought so. That's me, guys. He flashes his brows with satisfaction and approaches the exit. I don't like this. Of all the people in here, why would they send Tryst? I don't want to go, especially not with you. Trust me, I don't want you anywhere near me either. Especially with when that poorly masked ploy of yours explodes in your muzzle. And it will, I assure you. I don't want to be caught in the blast by association. He pulls on the handle and cracks the door slightly open, inviting me to follow. What ploy? Whatever chagrin you have going on here, I want no part of it. But this is not a request, it's an order. Now, would you please move before they send guards after us? I sigh and concede. Fine. Although I am distrustful of the bunny, I doubt he would try anything stupid. He seems quite afraid of what the tribe is capable of, and I'm under their protection. I walk towards the door, and with a reluctant step, this is quite the opposite of laying low. But in all fairness, when did any of Rannick's plans unfold in the way he intended? It's a lovely day outside, and the air is much warmer than before. I sigh, glancing over at the table with a smile. Once this errand is over, and if the weather holds, I will have myself a nice drink here in the evening. Tryst pulls me out of my daydream by rushing past me towards the path. I'm about to follow when I notice the bunny stumble and almost fall into the dirt, cursing under his breath. Wolf damn step! I try not to laugh, but a chuckle escapes my lips. Someone will lose their teeth on it one day. Makes me wonder how often he actually left the place. You'd think that an uneven step would rather make a lasting impression. I jump over the faulty stone and stop next to the flustered bunny. I would have imagined that for a long-time attendant you'd be used to it. Took me only a day to... Listen, it's better you shut up in public. It won't improve your chances if they learn you speak Old Sylvan as well. I tisk snarkily. Aw, you worry. Of course I do. You're suspicious as it is. Last thing I need is your stink being traced back to any of us. Now, let's go. He waves his paw at me, and we walk down the footpath leading towards the center of the village. There's a lot of movement this time around, mainly because it's midday. The wolves we pass give us unsettling looks, some very eager to bare their fangs in subdued growls. When we're out with Rannick, we're walking targets. Best to keep our heads low. When we're out without Rannick. Oof. Oh, Lord. He mutters, and I comply, locking my gaze on the path in front of me. I suddenly feel very much exposed. Their penetrating gaze is sending the wrong kind of shivers down my spine. My breath speeds up to match the tempo of my racing heart. This sort of hostility is something I'm not quite used to. Where did all the charm of the feasting go? Relax. That's what they're after. To startle you. The bunny sighs, and I try to steel myself. Those brutes look for any excuse to send a preykin into panic. Don't give them the satisfaction. I frown, finding it hard to believe even though I'm experiencing it firsthand. Then again, Vul does get a weird kick out of unsettling me. Maybe it's Rannoch who's the odd one out. As we enter the center of the village, I glance over to the butchery. Unsurprisingly, it's up and running with Vul busy at work with his back turned towards us. I want to end our little spat and decide to approach. It's also a good idea to let him know I'm being led somewhere. What are you doing? Tryst whispers at me in panic, but I ignore him with a shrug. I approach the counter and pat at it, drawing Vul's attention. Piglet? He looks rather surprised, but his expression is less sour than I expected. What? He cuts off, noticing Tryst dragging behind me. I forgot that he doesn't know the bunny is in on our little secret. Just as the awkward silence falls upon us, I see Cora walk from around the corner. I give her a shy wave, sending Tryst into a deeper shock. Why, hello there, pet. Aren't you looking a picture? She smiles widely at me, while giving Tryst an averse gaze. What are you two up to? I was wondering the same thing. Vul interjects. You! Where are you taking him? The wolf points at me, making an exaggerated hand swing into the distance. I watch as Tryst runs his paw behind his head, almost as if feeling up an invisible wreath. He then joins them in front of his chest, mimicking a sloped roof. The chief's place? Why? The bunny shrugs. I really struggle not to laugh at this whole charade. He'll be fine. He's got Rannoch's crest on his collar. They'll treat him right. She winks at me, ruffling my hair. Anyway, I need 2 pounds of fresh ham and some sausages for the den. We're making a stew for the pups. I need something hearty. Vul gives me an approving look. You're in luck, Piglet. You're in luck. Piglet and I made some fresh ones the other day. Oh, did you now? She looks at me with a kind smile. How industrious! Well then, I cannot wait to try them. She finally addresses Vul properly, and the black male has no choice but to return to conducting his business. Tryst seizes this opportunity to pull me away with a rather angered expression. I look back, worried about our hasty departure, but the wolves seem to pay us no mind. When we're safe distance away, the bunny finally snaps at me. Your cluelessness is going to get us both killed! He scolds me, and I give him a confused look. Don't acknowledge any wolf unless they acknowledge you first! And never give your attention to low-ranking wolves in the presence of an alpha! I narrow my brows. Their social norms are so much different from what I'm used to, and I'm not aided by my personal rapport with Vul and the others. I guess I really need to up my game if I want to be inconspicuous. Sorry, it's all new to me. Seriously. He sneers. Fulgur is the last wolf you want to fuck with. Or one of the first, depending on your meaning. I chuckle, trying to ease him, but the bunny is clearly unsettled. It's not a joke. If you want to get killed, do so in your own time. But don't drag me down with you. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try to keep their customs in mind. He sighs, looking at me with doubt. What about the elders? How do they rank in this society? Considering we're heading to the villa, you'd better give me a crash course. He nods in agreement as we walk around the stockades. I wouldn't want to end up here due to some slip-up. The hierarchy is quite simple. Chief is at the top. You always acknowledge the chief. Then comes his advisor, in this case, Vithir. Yeah, that makes sense. After that, it's the elders, any and all of them. Only then you acknowledge the heir. Rannoch. I whisper and the bunny nods. After the heir, it's the alphas in no specific order. If any of them are present, no one else exists. It's a grave insult to acknowledge a lower-ranking wolf before finishing with their superior. I guess me interacting with Cora was another no-no, then. So far, nearly everything is a grave insult with these wolves. You don't even know the half of it. He mutters, pulling my hand. Come on, pick up the pace. Oh boy. We walk a little further, my feet relieved to feel undergrowth again as the small... Oop. Let me go back. As the small pebbles of the village's pathway quite hurt my soles. I notice that we're not exactly walking on grass, but rather moss-covered road. It's incredibly ancient by the look of it, and it cuts right into the thick of the woods. I stop in my tracks, absolutely amazed by the way the canopy arches above the trail, creating an illusion of a woodland tunnel pierced every now and then by an occasional light shaft reaching to the ground from high above. Wow, this looks amazing! I gasp in astonishment, trying to take in the spectacular view. It's a bit overgrown. The rabbit shrugs unenthusiastically. That's what's beautiful about it. Finally, a shred of emotion other than a scowl. You might think I didn't notice him giving me curious glances, but I did. It seems he approves of my appreciation of nature. It's an old sylvan road. It connects all the major groves of Tiernan. Groves? I inquire, trying to seize the opportunity to build a proper rapport with the guy, but I might have acted too hastily. Tryst only gives me a contemptuous look, deciding to ignore my question. Fine, don't tell me. I pout, placing my hands behind my head and giving myself an idle stretch. I assume they're important to the sylvan folk. Is that your game? To gather information? He sneers, giving me an accusatory look. I'm only asking questions, trying to understand what's going on. What's going on is that I don't buy your little damsel in distress act. I'm not a damsel. I narrow my eye and the bunny scoffs. Sorry, must have gotten confused by your fancy dress. Alright guys, I'm gonna pause it right there. Alright. It looks like we're trying to break the ice a little bit with Tryst. I'm sure he'll turn out to be an interesting character. All these characters have layers after all, and that's what I really like about this game. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks if you can. It always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!